Hi there, it's day 9 of your resets, Tuesday, and look at this. This is my microphone. Over a week into shooting these videos, I finally located my microphone, so that should improve the sound quality a bit of the videos, and I hope that, you know, my dog barking in the background and scratching on the door and all of the disturbances over the last week haven't been too intrusive. If we haven't met, if you've come across this video on YouTube and you don't know what I'm talking about, then just click the link in the video notes below. That will take you over to the page on my website, which explains everything about this 31-day detox and reset following the ancestral health model. And I really encourage you to do it because the results are, you know, quite incredible with regards to your health and well-being. And for those of us who are doing the reset, let's jump into it. Today, we're talking about leptin, which is the hunger and energy hormone. It's you know, like this miracle hormone when it's working well, right? So are you too fat or are you too thin? Either way, it's the hormone leptin that determines what you need to do in order to thrive. Leptin stimulates your actions, right? Do you need to eat more or skip a meal? Or do you need to go for a run or conserve energy, right? Leptin's message, right, is what tells the brain what to do. But as with insulin and all the other hormones in our body, the brain needs to be capable of hearing it. So leptin, the appetite and energy hormone. Leptin is the hunger hormone. It's produced in the fat cells. Isn't that amazing that a hormone is produced in fat cells? So it's produced in the fat cells, and it's our natural fat accumulation regulator, right? It informs the body brain as to whether we're too fat or whether we're too thin. And these parameters are determined by our DNA and have evolved as part of our survival mechanisms. So during most of our evolution, we needed a physique which was lean enough to hunt game and escape predators and live a nomadic life. And at the same time, we had to store enough body fat to survive in the absence of food, which was quite common. Leptin evolved to keep our fat levels just right. When the body has too much fat, leptin levels are high. You won't have much appetite, but you'll feel energetic and you'll want to move. And so the message from leptin is you're too fat, stop eating and burn some of this fuel. But when the body doesn't have enough fat, our leptin levels are low. You'll be literally manipulated to eat more and move less. So in this case, the message is you're too thin, eat as much as you can, and store all of that energy because we're going to need it. Leptin resistance, right? So yesterday we looked at insulin resistance. Today we're looking at leptin resistance. High blood triglycerides and high blood glucose block the brain's ability to hear leptin, right? And this is called leptin resistance. When the message isn't received, the brain thinks you're too thin and that you need to eat more and move less. Okay? Excess triglycerides and high blood sugar levels are caused by excess carbohydrates. Insulin resistance, which we saw yesterday, insulin resistance means that the body can't access fat stores, and this creates cravings for carbohydrates and spikes in blood sugar levels, right? Now, if you add to that leptin resistance, it means that you're always hungry and you don't want to move despite all the stored body fat, right? This is really important to understand. Overeating and not exercising are symptoms of obesity. They're not the cause. Okay, and that can come as a real relief to people when they understand that. Onwards towards illness. Sugar burners who reach the stage of insulin resistance and leptin resistance are on a path towards lifestyle disease. Okay, and this is just a really brief look at how it causes a chain reaction of chronic inflammation. And of course, we're going to go into that in future days. But this is just a quick look, okay? Insulin resistance and leptin resistance are putting you on a path towards lifestyle disease. High triglycerides mean that the fat cells are full, right? They've got the no vacancy sign on the door. These cells are then subjected to oxidative stress. The immune system responds to heal and protect the damaged cells through its strategy of inflammation. When the immune system becomes overloaded, the result is chronic systemic inflammation, which many claim is the underlying factor of all modern disease, from seasonal allergies and acne right through to autoimmune disease and cancer. Okay, so yeah, further ahead, we're going to look at all of this. We're going to look at inflammation in the immune system, but that's just sort of like a little introduction as to how it's all integrated. Okay, now, we're getting familiar with all of this now. How to avoid high triglycerides. The way to avoid all of this is to reduce the consumption of carbohydrates, sugars, and alcohol, and to transform the metabolism from sugar burner to fat burner. And this metabolic shift takes around 21 days. Okay, so if you started with the reset program following the recommendations about a week ago, then you've already, getting that process in action. Be strong, be persistent, be wise and aware, and keep going, because it's really important to get that metabolic shift happening and to maintain it forever. Okay, so in the section on eat, there's an exercise here which is about counting your calories and macronutrients. Now, this is not a program or a, what am I trying to say here? This is the following the ancestral health model, following the paleo diet. Well, the beauty about it is that there's no measuring, there's no weights, there's no counting calories, there's nothing like that going on. It's easy, it's simple, and that means that it's achievable and sustainable forever, right? But every now and again, it's kind of interesting, right? Every now and again, tracking your calories and tracking your macronutrient consumption using an online calculator or just Google is kind of interesting, okay? It's not something that we want to be doing every day, and not even very often, right? We don't want to encourage, we in the ancestral health world, we don't want to encourage an obsessional attitude, and I absolutely don't encourage an obsessional attitude in any area of life. But every now and again, as I said, every now and again, it's an okay way to check that your macronutrient consumption is in line with your goals and your needs, okay? So above all, we just want to check that we're receiving adequate protein calories, right? Adequate calories from protein to preserve our muscle mass or to build muscle tissue, depending on what our goals are. And we also want to control, we also want to check that we're consuming carbohydrates that are in line with our goals. So remember the carbohydrate pyramid, yeah? Between 50 to 100 grams per day, that's going to guarantee pretty much effortless weight loss, but we want to be consuming between 100 and 150 calories of carbohydrates a day for maintaining our ideal weight, recommending that we can receive all of those carbohydrate calories through vegetables and a little bit of fruit, right? We don't need to be reaching for the grains and the cereals and the sugars and all of those things which promote weight, that promote weight gain and inflammation. Okay, so how to do it, just write down everything that you consume for a day, and then just jump online. And use measuring tools. Yeah, just for a day, use measuring tools so that you're getting quite accurate amounts of those foods and ingredients, and just write it all down, and then just use a smartphone app. There's some suggestions there. Personally, I just use Google. And then you just sort of add it all up at the end of the day. And yeah, it's just an interesting thing to do, just to make sure that you're on track. Yeah, especially because when you read, if you've got ingredient lists and you read, your daily average consumption, well, what's a daily person? It depends very much on our energy levels and our height and our lean body mass and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's just an interesting exercise to do. And then down in the move section, today is the day where we want to be experimenting the PEMS, the 4 essential movements, which are fantastic to get onto. I also recommend the 7-day workout. Yeah, the 7-day workout is fantastic because it's just a little app and it takes you through those exercises. And yeah, good. Little motivation exercise for you. Get in touch with me if you need to. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, ciao.